Land of Dawn here for the first game between BREN Esports and TNC.
All right, it's really scary that we are seeing a little bit of curveballs being thrown at each other. And I like the balance, but we're going to have to find out who comes out with a home run here in game number 1.
Speaking of the lineup here for BREN Esports, they would really rely on Super Marco's progress on the gold lane, because if they will rely on damage, they have good answer for setups. But now, BREN Esports preying on to...
Oh, man, they're really pushing Ogun to their limits here. And that's actually what I like about TNC's lineup. Their early game is actually quite solid. They don't have any fragile heroes that they have to take care of. The only one is probably that Claude, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. But at the same time, you want to be able to control this early game the best you can, especially if you're TNC. You want to allow Innocent to have that time to farm up here and get to the point where he needs to be. Well, my biggest question is, how does this Hilda versus Glue matchup work out, OSX?
Well, now it's unlimited regeneration and HP bars. Just spamming it out. It could translate into an eternal battle, low-key, without having the Esmeralda or the presence of another XP lane to cope up with the HP. But now it's more of the being consistent of the push of the lanes on how they will maintain this against TNC.
Yeah, my only issue with that is that puts so much pressure onto Innocent to really carry this game, because he's going to be the one that needs to do all the damage, aside from obviously the secondary damage output that you can do with a Faramis.
Yeah, and at this point, you see both teams just about having all those ultimates available to them. First Turtle's going to be up shortly, but still could be here.
Want to go for a collapse here. Goyo doesn't really have the cult altar. Just comes up right now, and look at that. Ghost Bursters absorbed by Flapteezy shows the capabilities of a Faramis against a Glue.
Well, for that matchup, we could actually talk about Kyle Teasy and King Kong here. In true damage, King Kong has a better edge in securing one, since now it's Kyle Teasy's show, sacrificing a lot of damage with Demon Slayer. Now, who's going to get this first turtle?
Well, BREN Esports looks like they have prime positioning here, as well as turtle capabilities. And now, TNC, they're just showing that, you know what? Again, this is the problem I said earlier. They're solid. They don't really die. But what else can you do aside from that?
Yeah, at this point, just if you're BREN Esports, you might as well just be happy with that. Grab the objectives that you can and be, just disengaged from there. No one actually has to go down just yet because, like you mentioned, TNC, even their early game is pretty solid. But right now, the confidence here from BREN Esports, even Kyle Teasy specifically, is obviously showing. So what we need to happen is Ben Things has to find the setups here on this Kufra. If King Kong can get these early kills, works out great for him, but he should also be contesting these early on objectives, because if things kind of continue to slip out of their hands, TNC, especially early turtles, it's going to start to that snowball effect for BREN.
You've talked about objectives here. We were expecting the Hilda to go on roam. Instead of now it's in the XP lane. For King Kong to be more aggressive, the Hilda would actually make sense if he changes to, well, give another swap on the lanes, because the more vision that he gives for King Kong, a lot of ways that they can get for objectives, even for steals, against Kyle Teasy.
Yeah, you got more abilities to check those bushes, but look at this. They didn't really check Ben Things. Good damage output here. That's a 4-man almost for Ogwin, but again, the damage just not quite there for TNC to punch back. Ben Things could be in trouble here. He is still in the middle of everything, but Kyle Teasy is going to be the one going down first blood. Traded really quickly by Flap there. It's a 1-for-1.
Okay, a 1-for-1 trade, right? But it was Ben Things that went down, so it was the roamer for TNC, and it was Kyle Teasy that fell for BREN, but now a play top side.
Oh, man, Innocent. Can he get out? I don't think so. Good range coming in from that Melissa.
This is the big problem right now of TNC. If they keep on answering to this early game pickoffs and aggression against BREN Esports, this gives them a complete snowball in every gank that they can do, especially now that they have Super Marco and Few having these heroes on their hands. This could mean business against TNC. Now they're really eager to build that items up to give damage.
Yeah, I love the TNC. They're just piling on whenever they get the chance here.
Well, they got that chance, and now they have a chance to actually contest this turtle here. They're going to be going for it. Could just go in the hands of King Kong.
Huge dive here on the back, just trying to distract the members of BREN here, and they take that turtle. And Hesu, I think he's going to be able to get out with his life even.
Yeah, without the presence of Flapteezy being taken down first, the aid of taking down Innocent or being focused or isolating Innocent out of those ganks and pickoffs, this is a bit of a difficulty for even for BREN Esports to find an angle. But right now, we're seeing light for TNC slowly in the first 5 minutes of the game.
I mean, first 5 minutes here, right? You're seeing TNC, the life is there. They got the turtle. They got a couple kills as well. But I mean, itemization-wise, OSX, how's this working out for them?
Now you have more additional way to spam out the skill set of Goyo, being the Faramis. You have the mana in, so he could actually be a replacement or to give rotation faster for TNC to aid King Kong's way of getting his jungle objectives in, because the more damage is being built up here for TNC could mean penetration for the defense of BREN Esports.
Yeah, the way that BREN is playing, though, they are looking like Super Marco's more confident. As long as Flapteasy and Ogun are nearby, and that's why people just love the Melissa, man. You can do stuff like this. You basically force Innocent to go down because you really don't stand a chance at around 5 minutes.
Well, that's the thing he has to do, right? Innocent is literally just farm. Let me just farm for at least a good, 10 to 12 minutes, and then I'll be there for, the impact of this Claude pick. Whereas Melissa, you kind of just unleash, and you're going to be okay. But now, Hesu, the focus, bottom side should be fine.
Yep.
Still a lot of focus here, right? All leading to pretty much any picks that they can find, right? But either of these teams have the potential to actually turn the tide here. In Ben thinks.
And that's exactly what Ben thinks is trying to do. Tries to go for the jump in because they really need to take these fights. But looks like the huge mess that's happening right now in the middle is going to keep Innocent alive. They can't touch the Claude. But then again, the Claude's not really doing that much damage yet. And that means that TNC has to back off.
Completely now TNC is feeling damage against BREN Esports. With the setup of Ogwen and with the initiation from how they crawl down bottom, really told TNC that BREN is up to something. This is the problem here. Ogwen has more vision for the team. While on the other side, Ben thinks he's trying to keep on looking for ways to slow down the aggression of Flapteasy, but the problem that they're seeing here is to slow down lanes of TNC.
This is the thing. There is just a lack of damage coming out from TNC when they need it most, because what you're seeing is this is the process, right? You see actually the initiation from Ben Things. He might get a setup, but then the response comes out from Ogwen with the Fatal Links. They then get Goyo to use the Cult Altar, but by that time TNC doesn't have enough damage, right? Innocent isn't where he needs to be, whereas BREN they pack a lot more damage, whether it's that burst or sustained. And now they're just assaulting objectives.
Yeah, they seem to be very confident, even with just one-man Fatal Links. They're fighting under the turret, and look at that. BREN, they also have their own Cult Altar, and they're able to take out King Kong.
You've mentioned, Naisu, that TNC is lacking damage. Looking at the items back then, Innocent only had one. That is the Demon Hunter Sword. Not enough against BREN Esports. 2 items for Super Marco. That hits hard as early as 8 minutes. So this is the problem of TNC. How are they going to cope up with the defenses plus the damage building for Super Marco?
Man, Atlas seems to be very, very oppressive in the hands of Ogwen. I think this is a huge manable pick for BREN here in the future.
This is based off the performances that Ogwen's been having. It's not a surprise that he's having this type of game on the Atlas, because every time he does use the Fatal Links, he gets value out of it. And that's the important part, right? He's getting value every time he uses that ultimate. He's able to set up the rest of the team here. And Few as well is doing an amazing job at picking the right ultimates to pretty much take. And now, slowly but surely, they get these tier 1s down in each lane, setting themselves up here for that first Lord of the game. And that's going to be crucial for them as they continue on. Now, that's the thing, right? Let's say BREN Esports gets that first Lord. TNC actually still has a decent, I would say decent defense. It's not amazing yet. It can be if Innocent gets to where he needs to be, but that's one of the big kind of conditions for them. So I would actually like to see TNC still contest this Lord and not just give it to the hands of BREN.
I mean, yes, please. You need all of that, right?
Completely. The objectives would really mean a lot for TNC, but the problem, we need to have damage for Innocent, even for King Kong. But in looking at the few minutes early on for BREN Esports, Benting is trying to spot one, but BREN, they're trying to push back TNC.
Yeah, it's a 5-man push, and Ben thinks has to use the conceal to slither away, and that means that BREN will have the priority in terms of control of this Lord pit.
BenThings also does not have the flicker. Here's the initiation, though.
Yeah, Owen really threatening King Kong here. Where are you going to go? Oh my god, Flap Teasy. He took out Innocent. Oh my god. The Cold Altar was way too late. And now where's the damage for TNC? It's nowhere to be found.
And that was just a 4-man counter punish against TNC. Only Goyo is left, and how will they even deal this? Nice to call it on point. BREN Esports securely gets this major objective. Now they're merely covering to sweep some of the minions to push back into the base of TNC.
It's crazy because what you just saw there was, I mean, how scary it looks when BREN Esports decides to pull the trigger, right? They use the conceal. Ogwen's literally floating towards everybody. And there's just a collapse. Yeah, they actually burnt that flicker from BenThings, so then BenThings is left with no, I mean, surprise initiation. But what you saw with that whole interaction was the itemization difference, and now they're still going to be going at it here.
All right, so at this point, TNC's just going for broke. Let's just go for the damage. Innocent's in front with the Blazing Duet, but as you can see, it barely scratches the surface.
Well, speaking of scratching surface, BREN Esports on a goal of 7.4K. Super Marco on a standing of 404. He has 4 important items that can easily penetrate TNC defenses. Yes, you have the Faramis from Goyo, you have that insurance, you have the health of Hesu, but now he has full physical penetration and even has defense from the Wind of Nature. Look at that. Total damage of Super Marco up the charts. Now they're knocking in the base.
And now with the Lord in the middle, I think this should be it. Look at Super Marco just untouched at the back. They take out King Kong like it's nobody's business. And Few, he's also threatening on the side with the Karina. Interesting. And the Haldies is just TPing in the front. He just knows what's up.
Yeah, confidence and strength right out of BREN Esports. This goalie's scary.
Oh, look at
Innocent.
this. The TNC punchback. They finally take care of that pesky Super Marco Melissa. Is this a sign?
They didn't like the TPs.
They didn't like it.
They didn't like it.
They got mad.
They really want to put it out right away. It's like fire, like put water right away against BREN Esports. But that thing, what happened there of Innocent trying to use that Blazing Duet right in the presence of BREN Esports. He's slowly climbing the charts right now for the player's gold, but right now TNC is buying time. The problem is also the waves keeps on pushing because of the wave clear that BREN Esports has.
Yeah, in fairness, I think that's all TNC has to do here at this point. Reach a 25-minute game, maybe.
Maybe the 25-minute mark, but BenThings still going, pressing the situation here. Nothing going to come out of it just yet, and you see Few, he grabs that coup for ultimate. He's like, no, never mind. So basically, yes, a good point is they need a lot of time here. Let's specifically look at the items OSX and how this could play out if they extend it maybe another 10 minutes.
Now with the Corrosion Scythe and the Golden Staff, he's looking to pierce through defensive BREN Esports. One thing that he needs to worry about is Flap TZ and Ogwen. He needs to let loose, or they need to use out the resource of the ultimate coming from Ogwen, but he has the BMI for that. The problem here is he needs to have something to aid the damage, but the Korean here is physically onto the tank procedure, but now they're relying on Innocent. He has 4 needed items, but for this, they need to have a good setup from BenThings to set things up. He has the immortality. He has the chance to be confident, but now pick-offs for the side of the TNC could actually work.
BenThings has immortality, right? But you just saw there, that was a couple auto attack hits from Super Marco, right? And it brought him to a half health. So if he puts himself in a situation where he's not able to get the setup he wants, then most likely BenThings is going to go down. But he's going for this one.
Yeah, as usual, BenThings just goes for it. Basically going for broke here. They're almost able to take out Flap, but Hesu goes down instead. Look at that. Ogwen's in the front. They're trying to zone out King Kong, and BREN manages to take out the TNC jungler successfully. And there's basically nothing the TNC can do about this Lord this time around.
And just as that, BREN Esports used this tactic to bait in TNC's need for objectives. They have a lot of things on their plate they need to push, but this Lord, they need this push against the BREN Esports base. But how Super Marco is dealing so much damage, and that setup from Ogwen really shook things up for TNC. Now they're at their mercy of their last 3rd turret onto their base, and Ogwen and Kyle Teasy, he's doing it again.
What's he doing?
It's the movie, man, you know? Kyle Zilla, he's in full control right now, at least for this part of the movie, right? So now you're seeing it unfold here. Lord's going to be coming down the mid lane. TNC's got to have an amazing defense here, but I just see this kind of a very difficult task for them because
they're
BREN,
flexing.
Look at the lead they have. Kyle TZ goes in.
Yeah, that's going to be Hesu, the primary target here. Once they take out Hesu, there's very little that BRENFINGS can do as a frontline. But look at this, TNC, they're still holding on for dear life here. Lord is in the middle of everything, though. Where is the Blazing Duet? Innocent's not popping it just yet. So much patience here for TNC. And there it goes. Ogwin finally pulls the trigger. Speaking of triggers, all the triggers being pulled here by Innocent. Blazing Duet finally used, but now they don't have damage, and that might be a problem.
They're still holding on, though. They're going to be going. That's the Winter Tranchant.
Yep, the DPS is still alive. Innocent is here, but not for long. Few takes him out, and that should be it. The 3 men remaining from TNC not going to be able to defend anymore. That's game 1 going over to BREN Esports.
TNC wanted to push it forward into the late game, but BREN Esports flexing all the recalls and just being confident. They can't even reach Super Marco's defenses, and that gave so much weight to cleanly take them into the base as 15 minutes.
15 minutes, right? They're not going to get the chance to get to that 25-minute mark that they desperately needed. And I'm actually surprised that last base fight lasted that long. They held on for as much as they could, but unfortunately, like we were saying throughout the game, TNC just didn't have the guns to go head-to-head with what BREN Esports